Hi. Hello. How are you this morning?
Good.
How's that going?
How are you?
Cold enough?
It's 10:30 on a Saturday morning. Time for brunch. Time for people to get together to catch up on neighborhood gossip. Pretty ordinary scene. Lots of people drop into their local restaurant. But Sam Freedman isn't just anybody. He's the Chief Justice of the Manitoba Court of Appeal.
Really hungry this morning, eh?
Oh, dear.
Somehow, this just doesn't fit the image people have of Manitoba's top judge. Brunch at the Fort Garry or the Carlton Club maybe, but not the Sal's.
I think that the people who would take that viewpoint expect a judge to be a stuffed shirt. And that's something I am not. I do not want to be. I see nothing wrong in having brunch at the Salisbury House or doing any of the other things that many, many other human beings do. And I shall try to continue to be myself.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chief Justice.
Who is this man who has devoted over a half a century to the law, has more than a dozen honorary degrees, was Chancellor of the University of Manitoba, known internationally as a top after-dinner speaker, and yet rides the bus to work? To gain some understanding of who Sam Freedman is, you have to come here to the Stella Aikens area of North End, Winnipeg. This is where he and his 6 brothers and sisters grew up. This is where Sam and his brother Max played street hockey using horse manure as pucks. This is where Sam attended Aberdeen School and St. John's Tech. And this is where he learned to live being poor.
We lived in a very modest style, but I don't look back upon it with any feeling of bitterness or anything like that. The Depression years, for example, had some incidental benefits. They taught us to be content with little. It sort of drove us in among ourselves.
Sam Freedman is very much a product of his parents. From Ada, he got his sense of humor, his ability as a storyteller. Nathan Freedman taught his son to be more concerned about who he is rather than what he is. Nathan was a junk peddler, but inside the Jewish community, he was highly respected.
My father was something of a Hebrew scholar, but best of all, when I think of my parents, I think of them and of the generations they represented, who came here manifesting great courage, a new country. They came for opportunities of greater freedom, and I think they found what they wanted.
What did your parents try to give their children? There were 7 of you in the family. Your mother gave birth to 8 children. What did they try to give the family, the children?
If I had to isolate one particular thing, I would say the emphasis would be on a love of learning. There's an old saying that in Jewish life, that the scholar takes precedence over the king. And I think that philosophy was part of my parents' thinking and of their generation as well. And I think they tried to transmit it to the children. With what degree of success, I must leave others to judge.
Sam managed to win a $100 scholarship. That made it possible for him to enter the University of Manitoba. He studied Latin and Greek with the notion of becoming a professor, but it wasn't to be. He won several scholarships during his university days, but the one he really wanted, the Rhodes Scholarship, was denied him. Do you think that you were perhaps victimized by anti-Semitism in not getting the scholarship?
I would hesitate to say that, frankly. I lost to a very good man, Larry Bonacastle. The selection committee indeed concentrated on my Jewishness. I don't like to say that this was telling against me. At the same time, I don't want to deny the possibility of its existence. Indeed, when I entered the university in 1924, I was conscious that I was bearing a double burden, one coming from the North End, two Jewish, a Jewish boy coming from the North End. And we encountered anti-Semitism. I remember the occasion when in the locker room someone had put up a sign, "We gave you Palestine, give us the locker room."
Ironically, years later, Sam was appointed chairman of the Rhodes Scholarship Selection Committee. Unable to win the award, he had to forget his plans to become a professor.
I turned to law as a kind of second choice, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Second best. My first was marrying Brownie.
It was while he was going to university that Sam met Brownie Udo. She was the first girl he ever dated. In fact, the only girl he ever dated.
I didn't date her until January the 6th, 1927, a day that's dear to my heart.
What took you so long?
I was slow.
He's changed a great deal. He was very shy.
Was he really?
Very shy.
Obviously, there was something, though, that attracted you to him.
Yes, he was very serious, really. I thought he was too serious in those days. But he was very attentive and
Well, tell us
very
about
much interested in me. And I admired him very much because he was very different from any of the boys I had ever gone out with.
Well, Sam might have been slow, but he had the heart of a true romantic. He was supposed to take Brownie to a fraternity dance. When it was canceled, he felt honor-bound to keep the date.
We went to the Metropolitan Theater. We saw a movie with Blue as Stone. I would have given it a B minus. But I was so delighted when Brownie said, "Oh, it was a wonderful movie, a wonderful movie." It made me feel good. We went to the Princess Tea Rooms following the show. The Princess Tea Rooms in Portage Avenue, where the North Star Inn is today, approximately that area. And this being my first date, the occasion being romantic and sentimental, I celebrated it by ordering a sardine sandwich.
From that gourmet meal grew a relationship that produced 2 daughters and a son, and has lasted more than 50 years. You've obviously had a wonderful and happy marriage.
Can't fight with this man.
You can't fight
No,
with him?
you can't fight with him.
How come? You can't win
He's
an argument with him?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't fight. I might try to quarrel with him, but he doesn't allow it. Just calmly, easily, just says nothing.
Very judicial.
Very judicial. Very good.
Very judicial, and in that mood, I recognize that Brownie is right, so therefore there's no need to quarrel.